Hello and welcome to this episode 8, season 3 of Blood on the Severn, a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle set in Bristol, England in the year 2017. With me tonight,
X playing Nanj of the Ministry.
Peter playing Janusz Kroll of Clan Jimitsu.
Rob playing Dermot Bryan of Clan Malkavian.
And Alice playing Matilda Wells of Clan Ventrue.
And, last week we had a few interesting developments for our weird, crazy bunch. So as a matter of a short recap in the highlights, Nanj had a really rough beginning of the evening. She was doing important work, investigating what had happened with the Society of Leopold after Janusz and Diarmuid had been spying or using the internal surveillance systems of the Society for Father Michael's church. They realized that he kept a ledger. Nanj went into the church and went behind the altar and found said ledger. She was really quiet and deft, and she managed to not only find it but also take pictures of it and started doing basically copying all of the pages. Excuse me, I'm getting a little bit of a. Sounds like my microphone is struggling. Can you hear me all right, Peter?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, it's probably the stream platform. So I will try to keep it a little louder so it's not lost. So basically, Nanj found the ledger and took pictures of every single page. Actually, very quite good pictures, really high resolution. And she managed to put the ledger back in the same place, in the same way that she had found it, so no suspicion would be raised. On her way back, she was met at the entrance of the HQ with a very emotional and unreasonable Ruby, who confronted her about what had happened. Very strong words were said, and Nanj went in to talk to the rest of the coterie. In the meantime, Dermot was struggling with having Duchess around because Janusz was thinking about going out on a hunt. After a very difficult evening also for Matilda, in which she had to sort as much as she could from the situation with her friends and how Audrey has been dealing with poor Squid. She decided to go with Janusz and Dermot using the compass to see if they could pinpoint or triangulate the location of Rose / Annie. After going around for a few hours, it was evident that the compass was, yes, pointing in the direction, presumably, of Rose, but she's nowhere inland. She's probably out in sea, falling in line with what Nanj had thought. She might be on a boat somewhere. In the meantime, Nanj back in the HQ, back in Janusz's haven, is checking on the notes of what she had taken from the ledger. She finds out that Father Michael's not only involved with the Society of Leopold, has been involved for a long time, but also that he was present. He was one of the people that went into Janusz's haven all those decades ago and assisted with the slaughtering of Janusz's mortal family, or the first installment of the Children of Summer. It was also evident to Nanj after analyzing it that of all the members of the Society of Leopold in Bristol, only 3 know that they are part of a larger organization. Everybody else believes that they are a self-contained cell that is doing God's work. Back in the HQ at the end of the evening, Janusz asks to be taken to his place, while there is someone waiting for Matilda. As Janusz comes back, he finds Nanjacel. She is sneakily, or not so sneakily, taking the tongue of Kupala to her room. It has transpired that during the evening, Zane, the custodian of the tongue of Kupala, had been awoken with a grim message. The warrior will be our downfall if her wrath is left unchecked. Nanjacel tried to listen to the tongue of Kupala. She could hear a whisper, but it was garbled. She wrote down what she could, but it's unintelligible. After Janusz explained that some have a specific purpose, regardless of whether their faith is strong or not, and after reassuring her that she still remains the chosen of Kupala, but the tongue is not her responsibility, he told her that she was ready to be let in to the further mysteries, or into a little secret. You're ready for the next step, basically. When Matilda and Diarmuid arrive to the HQ, there is someone waiting, a ghoul of Ubasi. He's waiting for a reply from Matilda. Will she join the Camarilla, or will she aid Ubasi in killing Roger Smith? And being the anarch she is, she decided to go and kill the Elder. At least that's what she told the ghoul. But immediately after the ghoul had departed, she went back into the car with Diarmuid. And against the rules of the city, she disclosed the nature of the life boon to Diarmuid. And she spilled the beans about Ubasi's plan of taking down Roger and Prince Nathaniel. The session ended with Matilda losing a little bit of her humanity, going down to humanity 5. And a very curious Diarmuid wanting to do something about it. So let's jump right back at that, because that would be the last thing for the evening. Nanjacel and Janusz had already retired, and you have a few minutes of conversation before you retire for the evening. If you're gonna stay in the HQ, then you wouldn't need to hurry it if both of you are staying there. So are you having the conversation in the car or inside the HQ?
They'll just sort of wait there in the car, and if Diarmuid wants to move it to the HQ, we can.
Let's take it inside.
Yeah. Let's go. All right, we'll go inside to the HQ.
Okay. So yeah, the HQ is in the same state. There's still a little bit of the smell of blood, but it's been, it was cleaned by Charlie Shrike and Mitchell, who helped, and it's a good job. It was well done. But for you, Kindred, you're going to still feel that smell in the air, that haze, that aftermath.
Matilda will just cross the sort of dine with the lounge and sit down somewhere.
Derm will probably be pacing to start with. That's quite the bombshell you just dropped there.
Yeah. Figured you'd like to know. Figured it concerns you.
Aye? So what's this about?
Ubasi came to me a few nights ago and asked for the life boon to call it in. He wants me to kill Roger, wants me to help him kill Roger. And I asked him why, and he said it's because his Roger killed his sire. Nathaniel also killed his sire. And he wants to get square for that as well.
You're not supposed to be telling me this, you know.
Yeah. I'm not supposed to be killing Methuselah, really. I mean, in terms of what is right for the city, what is wrong for the city, I think I'm doing the best option by telling you. Sorry if I put you in an uncomfortable position, but...
I don't think it's me that's in the uncomfortable position, Matilda. But what do you want me to do? I know what I want to do, but
What do you want to do?
I want to fucking tell Nathaniel and then take good old Bassi outside and let him enjoy the sun one last time.
Exactly what I want to do. I think that might have to wait, though. I'm not sure we can go straight to Nathaniel. I have an idea.
How long we got?
I don't know when Abassi plans to do it. He asked me to find a time, find a place that Roger would be vulnerable. And then at that point, he and whoever would strike. I'm figuring that might be an opening.
I see. Well, it seemed like Janusz was keen on us getting moving regarding Rose. Who knows how that's going to end up considering what we've seen.
I think that comes first. Abassi comes second.
Well, you forgive me if I don't prepare a little package to be sent through to Nathaniel just in case anything happens to us.
A little package.
A little message, just word of warning.
That's fine. I was thinking of doing the same thing for Roger as well.
If you want, I can help with that. Put a little anonymous tips in the right place kind of thing.
That would be good. That would be useful. Something that, if we don't, I don't know, how does it work? If we don't sort of press a button at a certain time, it goes to him.
Aye.
One of those things.
Aye, something like that. Something with a little timer running. And if nothing happens, I don't stop it, it'll just fly us a little way in the right little pigeonholes. Get moving.
Do that.
I best get on that quick then. And,
Yeah. Just do it tomorrow morning and then we can sort out Annie. Rose, whoever the fuck she is. Tomorrow.
Aye. Well, let's yeah. See to it tomorrow then.
Yeah. Alright. Thanks, Dermot.
No, thank you.
Okay. So the two of you go to bed. Gonna ask for rouse checks from everyone as a new night rolls in. Anish. Oh my god. Everybody goes hungrier.
Full house.
Full house, indeed. So, Nigel, you're at hunger 3 now.
Okay, thank you.
And let's start with the two of you, Nigel and Peter. So, what's your current hunger, Peter, Janusz?
I'm on 3 hunger.
Okay. So, both of you, the following night, come to your senses, feeling a little bit of a pressure in your gut. You know, the beast starting to less ask and more demand sustenance. So, Janusz and Nigel, anything you want to do immediately after rousing for the evening?
Yeah, I'm going to go into, I guess, what passes as Janusz's office.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to have Evelina bring Zane to my room.
Meanwhile,
Okay.
I'm going to spend time trying to decipher whatever things I wrote down last night
Yeah, maybe it's all going to become clear now.
with my massive academic skill.
From the
Oh no, wait.
from the scribbles of the musings of the tongue of Kupala,
Yeah.
or
Yes.
your notes from the Society of Leopold?
Oh no, obviously the tongue of Kupala. Obviously.
The
Okay.
scribbles of Kupala.
The
It's a
scribble.
new relic of the faith.
Okay.
I'll just be in my room.
Okay.
Or probably in a common area or something, I don't know.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
probably in your room, listen to some music
Very lively.
inside,
The
some
whole
Duran
thing.
Duran or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Evelina brings Zane to your office,
Good.
Janusz. Hi. Good evening, Janusz. Everything all right?
Well, we shall see, shan't we, Zane? Come in, sit down. Thank you, Evelina. That will be all. You can close the door.
Evelina would have mentioned that because in the morning, when you talk to Evelina first, sorry, I completely missed this one. When you approach her first,
Yeah.
she tells you that she immediately says, Zane knows that you had the tongue of Kupala with you. He woke up, he couldn't find it. It wasn't in his room. I wanted to alert you. I know it was the day, but then I saw it in your room, so I let you sleep. So basically, Zane noticed that the tongue was missing, and you were going to be awakened immediately. But since you had
I get
taken
it.
it to your room,
So he will just say, yes,
So
that
she-
must have been most alarming for Zane to realise he had misplaced his charge. Bring him, Evelina. I must speak with him.
so of course when he shows up, he says everything is right, but he's a little, nervous.
Yeah, so when Evelina's been sent away, I'll say, I have a few questions for you, Zane.
Yes.
The first is, I understand you have heard a message. Second
Yes,
message.
Yes. Woke me up last night. Yes.
Tell me.
He talked about the warrior. When if her wrath is left unchecked, it would be our downfall.
That is exactly what the tongue said.
Yes.
I see. Good, thank you. And that is important information. Now, I have another question for you. How is it that I came to find Tongue of Kupala, the relic that you are charged with protecting, wandering the corridors of my house in Nanjazel's hands?
He looks at you like very puzzled until you mention Angela. Say, oh, I was under the impression that you had gone to my room and collected it. When I was awakened in the middle of the night and I found Nanjazel.
So, Zane, how did you not know where the Tongue of Kupala was?
Well, because after I delivered the message to Nanjazel, because I was looking for you, I was helping Evelina fall back to bed. She also had been awakened in the night because she thought we were being attacked again. So I was there to reassure her.
Tell me,
But then
Zane,
I went to...
why is it that it was a simple matter for someone to walk into your room and take it? If you are not present with it personally, you must find a place to hide it that is not easy to find.
It's always in a hard to find place. I just
Not
took it
hard
out
enough,
because
it seems.
I took it outside of its hiding place because it was whispering to me. I was half asleep, but I thought I was safe here with the children and Nanjazel and
When
we were
I
waiting
was
for you.
a man, a long time ago now, Zane, this place was packed, and the people that lived here, that worshipped here, killed. I was the only survivor, and I escaped with the tongue. I took it to Poland. many years it was protected there. When I returned here, great lengths were taken to bring it back to this place so that it might do the work of the gods. You have been given the sacred task of guarding it. When you fail the old gods in your task, they do not ask why, because it does not matter why. What matters is that you failed. You seem to have forgotten who I am.
I have not, I assure you. Janusz, I have not. It was a mistake.
Yes, it was a
Will
mistake.
not happen again.
No, it will not. Nevertheless, I feel the need to remind you that I am not a man that you serve. We are here in this place to worship, to feed the gods. Yes. For the gods feed upon our prayers. He'll get up from the table, walk around to Zane. But there are other sacrifices that can be made to the gods also. I'll go and stand behind Zane.
You know, I've always been willing and ready to give any sacrifice.
Yeah.
I believe in this. I believe in you. Janusz, I'm sorry. And he looks really contrite. He's really sorry.
Well, then I will take your prayer and your sacrifice as apology. We may begin it now.
And he gets ready, like he stands up from the chair and starts doing the prayers.
And when he prays, Janusz is going to feed on him, basically.
Okay, cool. Are you looking for a particular resonance, or you?
I mean, probably.
Feed?
To be honest, he's not tried to push. I don't necessarily think he's done enough to force Zane, but I mean, ideally, I'll take cleric because I think Janusz is trying to be actiony at the moment. But to be honest, the point is he wants to take some blood to make a point.
So, since you have enough of a herd background, to choose some of your resonances, choleric would mean that when you feed off of Zane, he's angry at himself.
Sure, that seems fine.
Very riled up. But that also gives you sort of a little bit of an insight of this, of what he's thinking and how he's feeling. He takes his duties very seriously.
Yeah.
And he thought for a second that, take it out of the place, listen to the message, look for Janusz, and then the, typical thing, you leave it out of your sight for a second, and then it's gone.
All right.
So he's really angry at himself, and he's beating himself up for it.
So when I'm only going to feed on just a sip, effectively. I'm just going to take a little from him.
One. Okay.
And when I'm done, I will say, your prayers have been heard, Zane. You are forgiven. But do not forget again. The gods will not. And then I'll leave him to it.
Yeah, he grabs the tongue of Kupala, which I assume has been sitting on your desk.
Yeah.
And he
on the corner.
And he leaves. So I believe you wanted to have a chat with Nanj. You told her that...
Janusz does want to talk to Nanj, yeah.
Okay, so Evelina will come and fetch you, Nanj?
Okay. I'll go wherever she's telling me to go.
Yeah, it's in the office.
I presume I can assume I've made no progress on my unlocking of spiritual matters.
I think if you have made any progress, it's mostly because you're looking at some of your scribbles and going like, was this HSSH, like hush, or was it like hush?
This looks a tiny bit like an H.
Yeah. And trying to add like a J in the middle, and you're trying to because also you're working from memory from last night.
Yeah.
So you feel that you have made progress in identifying the sounds more correctly.
Okay.
But no further.
Well, I'll leave that where it is, and I'll go with Evelina.
Yeah. When you get downstairs, you have to wait just a second. Zane is coming out with the tongue of Kupala. He's looking a little pale.
Right, Zane?
As
As he passes me by.
Yeah, he's a little dizzy and he just waves at you, and Evelina looks like grabs him by the hand and takes him upstairs.
Don't drop that tongue, mind.
He nurses it a little closer. And Nanj comes into the room.
Orion?
Ah, Nanj. Perhaps we might take a walk outside.
What? If you like.
So I'll take her out to some of the trees that are kind of out towards the sort of place where we normally do our rituals, you know, somewhere a little bit sacred.
Little bit sacred.
Little bit, you know.
Yeah, and then it's a cold night, as usual, and it's kind of breezy, and the wind and the trees are making some sounds that might be similar to what you have
the
been
trees are
listening.
possessed by Kabbalah.
You saying
Not.
anything about it?
Or not, and the river is also doing a little gargly sound, and everything sounds like what the tongue of Kupala said, but nothing does.
I'll say, oh, it's weird, ever since I managed to hear the tongue, everything what's around sounds like trees, river, sound in the wind, all that shit.
This place that we stand in now is Kupala's holy ground.
Well, it makes sense then, doesn't it? You probably
That
can
is-
talk to me more easily here, can I?
Yes, I would imagine in another place the sounds would be different. The trees would sound
But
different.
these sound like what I wrote down, what it said to me yesterday.
Well, whilst the tongue is the clearest way for the messages to come, this whole place, Allah's voice will carry within it. There was a message you heard from Zane that you could not remember.
Something about a warrior. Yeah.
Well, it is intriguing to me that not only can you not understand the message, but you cannot understand its import. However, I understand it, and I wish to share its meaning with you.
Right.
The tongue of Kupala was speaking specifically about one person.
Yeah, somebody called the warrior.
Yes. We're speaking about you, Nanj.
Not my name. My name's Nanjazal.
Yes, but the gods do not always think of things in such ways. You are you not, a warrior for the faith? Have you not killed to defend the holy ground? Have you not fought the enemies
Well,
back from these doors?
well, yeah, but they need a kicking, didn't they?
Yes, well that is the work of a warrior. That is how the gods perceive you, as someone who is willing to stand and fight what needs to be done.
Well, sounds alright then.
Yes, it is. It is like being their champion. That is why you are the chosen.
Yeah, I can't remember what the message said about it.
It spoke of your anger being a danger to us. And what it means is that you have become frustrated, and that in time, if those frustrations were not answered, that anger might turn inwards to this place. Means, Nanjel, that you are ready to be told more. Tongue of Kupala is saying it is time for you to understand what we do here.
What? Well, that's great.
You've been striving for a long time to understand more and to learn more. And it has not been an easy road.
Huh.
The gods do not make it easy.
Oh, I suppose.
You must understand that I did not have my first encounter with the gods until I had died. Until I was well into my 70s.
Well, nor did I. Not till after I died.
No.
Not till after I met you.
But I had spent those years, all of my mortal life, in service, worshipping. You understand, I gave a life of service before the gods acknowledged me.
Yeah, I understand.
It is a long path. It takes time. These are interesting times in which we live. There is a time for patience and there is a time for action, and we are approaching a time of action. How can you take action if you do not understand why you are acting,
Right.
or what those actions will mean?
Right, exactly. I need to know who I've got to defend us from? Who is it I've got to kill?
Well, you already know some of the story, of course, of this place.
Oh.
But what perhaps I have not told you when I have spoken about the old gods, be they in the river or the sky or the earth, is that despite their power, even the gods have enemies. Even the gods can be attacked. There are many old gods, you must understand that.
Well, they're fight with each other.
Yes. And there are false gods that try to usurp the old ways as well. It is not without peril for those who worship, or indeed the gods themselves. A long time ago, Kupala, who you know we revere,
Right.
was brought low and trapped beneath the earth. Now, for a long time, he slumbered, weakened, trapped so deep that even Perun could not see him.
Who brought him low? Who was his enemy?
The sun is jealous of Kupala. It is spiteful and hateful at him before, which is why it is fortunate that Kostroma protected him in that time. The thing that I want you to understand, Nanj, although Kupala was trapped under the earth, he has begun to stir again and is looking to come back. But it is difficult. He needs to be made strong again. And he cannot come back anywhere. He has to come back in a place that is holy.
Like here.
Like here. There are other places, of course, in the world, but those places are too near the prison. Not the right place to bring him back. But this place is the place where he will return.
And he needs his tongue back then.
In time, this message the tongue gave us, that the weakness of the king would lead to his rise.
But yeah.
This is the moment we are striving for. To bring him back.
Well, we must be nearly done then.
Seems that way, if we can pass this last trial, this last test.
What's going to happen when he comes back?
Many things, then. Many things. But certainly good things for those who have been faithful and served him.
Seek out the people who brought him low.
Yes, I would
And kill
imagine.
them.
I would imagine his heart will be filled with the need for revenge.
Here. Then I can speak to him whenever I want.
Yes, yes. You would be able to speak to him in his full glory, in this place.
Well, sounds like it's everything what we've been working for all this
Yes.
time. So what do we have to do? How do we make it happen?
Well, the architect of the death of my family, those who worshipped here, he is now nearly in our grasp. At the right time, he must be brought here, sacrificed. Then that sacrifice, his weakness, will enable Kupala to turn fully back into this.
So just the king, or we need a lot of them.
I do not think it hurts to make the sacrifice as large as possible.
No, I suppose it means he's gonna have more power or more of what he needs quicker, right?
Yes.
Well, do you think I should go out and start getting them? Because I found out where they all are, didn't I?
I think we should understand where all of them are and move on them in the same night, such that one or two do not flee or warn the others.
There's only two of us. How are we going to do?
There are others who wish revenge upon society, anarchs who were attacked, like Craig, for example.
Why?
So we can draw the ones for sacrifice, but others can simply kill them, or capture them.
Right. Alright. Well then, it seems to me that I've got to find out where all these individual people are.
Yes, we must know where they consider themselves safe, where they sleep, where they rest, such that we can take them unaware. Just as they tried to come here to our home, we will go to their homes, and we will rip them from their beds, and we will bring them here, and we will make something worthy of their lives.
Well, it seems to me that what they've been spending their time doing thus far isn't much in the way of... But I can start finding their places.
Yes, you can do everything that needs to be done such that we can strike. You have already done so much, Nandazal. You have found their schemes, their plans. We now understand what they want. Your anger should be reserved for them. It's a powerful form.
Alright. Well, you know, I knew you wouldn't let me down. You tell me what all this was about eventually.
Yes.
And here we are today.
Yes.
Can't believe we're on the last step though.
It is hard to believe. I myself find it difficult. But the tongue of Kapala would not lie.
No, right.
If we are worthy and we rise to this challenge, then it will all be as it is prophesied.
Alright.
It's up to us now.
Alright. Well. Thank you. This is much easier. Now I understand what's going on.
Good. Very few do, truly. Evelina, no.
Who else? No one else around here?
Not.
Not even Zane?
There are two. You have met. The couple, the groundskeeper.
Right, yeah.
They have worshipped their lives. They understand. But they are not chosen, not as you are, then. They will need your protection coming nights, I suspect.
Well, then they can have it.
Good.
Right, well, I'm going to start off on finding out where these people live, and each one, and then we can sort out a plan together.
Yes, we must not forget Rose, of course. There are movements to deal with her as well. But
Did you find her?
Yeah, well, we know she's on the coast. The others will be in contact soon, I'm sure.
She wants a slap in the face, doesn't she?
She does. She wished.
You know what, though? If we did Kapala, if we brought Kapala back now, it wouldn't matter what she...
True, but
He...
but it is not yet time.
What? I thought you said it was time.
Yes, but we are not yet ready.
But we can be ready really easily. I can just go and get these people, and we can sacrifice them in the ground. We can do it tonight. Then, if Kapala is here, it don't matter what Rose or Annie or whatever she wants to call herself today does, because get her to sling her out, wouldn't he?
But the ritual must be ready. It must be perfect.
But how long does the ritual take?
Well, I will prepare it. I'm just saying, for now, find out where they live. It will be soon. Days, perhaps. But we cannot... We rush if we get this wrong.
We won't get it wrong, will we? I'm the warrior, you just said.
I said you are the warrior, and if we do not make any mistakes, then it will be as we wish. A single misstep could bring all of this crashing down about our ears.
We're not like to make mistakes, are we?
Not if we are.
Alright, I'm just saying. More efficient. Alright, well, I guess I'll go and start finding out now.
When you know, then we will gather people and then we will strike. Swiftly, as you say. And in the meantime, I will prepare the ritual. And head off.
I'll go off and try and find all these people, I guess.
Yeah. Nanjasel heads off, and Janusz can catch a glimpse of the ghost of her father looking at the two of you from the depths of the river.
Is he... Does he look
Sorry?
still appropriately bound in the river?
He looks appropriately bound, and he's giving you a most unapproving glance.
I will give him an evil smile, and then I will return, twirling my moustache to my my lair.
Okay. Meanwhile, in the HQ, both Matilda and Dermot awaken the beginning of the evening. So, yeah, you have no messages or anything from Obasi, Matilda. So
That's the way we like it.
seems like he is waiting on your information so he can make arrangements. So basically, he's waiting for you to tell him where and when will he be the most vulnerable. Of course, he expects to hear from you soon with something, but so far he has not pushed anything.
Okay. I mean, I'm not like Matilda's not privy to Roger's like schedule or anything.
Exactly, and Obasi knows this. Obasi knows that you will have to make your way into finding this information. So
yeah, okay.
So you have a few days.
Cool. Right. Presuming Dermot is up, I'll go up and yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably downstairs in the basement with some music pumping.
Yeah, it's easy to find him. Go to where the music is.
Up to where the blaring music is. And just say, we should start thinking about going on the sea.
I think we need a boat.
I think we need a boat. I think we need to ask Teach. Should we get Nanj? Maybe she might be the best to ask.
Yeah, do you want to send a message through to her and just get them up here and we can start getting things organised? I just finishing off the care packages to our friends.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll drop a message to Nanj and say, do we want her just to come over?
Yeah, just her and Janusz.
Yeah, I'll just say, Dermot and I are in the HQ. Can you come over ASAP?
Just, he seemed to think yesterday he was bringing Duchess for some hunting. Is he intended on doing the same thing again?
You're making progress. You can be in the same room. You were in the car with her.
Don't get me wrong. I like animals. I used to work in a vets and all. I like volunteered. I don't have a problem with animals, but that thing is not an animal.
It's a dog. It is. It's just a nice big dog. Damn it.
I'm okay. It hasn't like bitten my head off or anything. So if he wants to bring it, I'm not gonna cause a scene or anything. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna say Janusz can bring Janusz can bring Duchess.
That's what the text is also going to say. Janusz can bring the Duchess.
Oh, Dermot says Janusz can bring the Duchess.
Okay. So if presumably I received this message.
Yeah. After your conversation with Janusz, yeah.
So I will I'll find Janusz and ask him to come with me. I will say that I would be pleased if you bring the Duchess and several more dogs. Yeah.
Okay, I'll say, of course. So
I'll get Lug to drive us down.
I'll do this. I'll pick a couple of dogs, from that I think Dermot might like.
Okay.
I'll show Dermot some pictures of dogs while we're waiting, just for exposure therapy.
I will reply to say we're on the way, but I won't describe what "we" means.
Okay. Okay, so when you arrive,
in the meantime, Carlos, I think I'm just going to be putting the messages and sort of agreeing that with Matilda what we want to send through, and my plan was to send them through to.
You can maybe discuss what is it that you want to put in the message, but yeah, what is your plan before that?
To basically package up a couple of messages and send them through to Hubert.
Okay.
They'll be encrypted with a request to say if these, if you don't hear from us within 2 days, then or X number of days. Then basically forward these on to these people, because I'm imagining he has contact details for all the relevant people.
Yes, he does.
And he's very timely, so I know that he'll do it.
He will do it, yeah. And also, if he's a fellow Malkavian, so.
And what I will probably do is, I know that he won't touch it, but you never know with him, so I'm going to have to encrypt it and then basically have a timer to say I'll send the encryption, decryption through in a couple of days as well. So when you receive that, you can send it on.
Okay.
Nice.
And what would be the content of the message? That's something that probably you will agree with
Yeah.
Matilda, or is it something that you throw on your own?
I think I'll probably leave it so the two of us can write our own messages to the respective people. So that,
Okay.
Yeah.
So who would you be reaching? Rob or Dermot?
Nathaniel and the Primogen.
Okay. Both of them are going to be getting a message. What would be the content of the? Is it going to be the same for both of them?
Yeah, slight variations to, but in simple terms, it will be: I've received information that Abassi intends to eliminate Nathaniel in revenge for killing his sire.
Okay. Sorry, just making a note of that. Okay. And Matilda? Who would she be reaching, and what would the message say?
It would be to Roger, and it would be something very similar. I've been made aware of plans to kill you. That Abassi wants to kill you. Look out.
Okay. Okay, so we have Nathaniel, Prince Nathaniel, Primogen, Derek Williams, and Roger Smith, the Anarch Baron. All of them are being sent messages. Well, all of them will be sent a message if something happens to you.
Okay. After Dermot's while he's sorting that out, I'll just say to him, I thought about what you said last night and that this could bring a bit of trouble my way. And I just wanted to say that if there might be people who don't understand why I'm doing this and don't see the bigger picture, and I'd appreciate if they made life difficult for me if you'd be in my corner.
Aye.
Because I trust you, but I also didn't have to come to you with this information either.
You didn't, and you've proven yourself time and again to be somebody who looks out for the best for everybody. So I'll help you in any way I can.
Thank you.
Not just that, we talked about Mitchell right before.
Yeah, we did.
I recognized you didn't have to come to me with this. I'll speak to Nathaniel on behalf of Mitchell.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that very much.
Moments later, after Dermot is doing his whiz things and sending messages to Hubert, you will hear footsteps and pause.
So it's worth me saying I will look a bit different when I walk in, because I'm a chosen warrior of God, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
I should walk like one and act like one.
Okay, so you're walking in with
I just guess I've got more
stride.
swagger or more intimidation. I'm just actively look more aggressive or confrontational.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, I guess we also have the dogs.
Yeah,
that probably detracts from all the additional behavior.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not going to be just the Duchess. It's going to be probably another Kovacs, a couple of shepherds, and probably the small white pom that was in in Matilda's room the first night she went there. She spent the first night she spent in Janusz's haven, the small white Pomeranian that was with Janusz walking around.
I'm not going to be walking quickly because I'll look like I'm chaperoning him. I'll be walking at his pace.
Oh my god! So a very ominous procession and slow, very slow and ominous procession of an old man with all these dogs. And then, and it's a contrast because half of these dogs are like white dogs, or very light colored, like the Kovacs and the white palm specifically are like very bright. And then there is a black or figure behind, like all dressed in leather and looking mean as hell.
Also,
it looks very, very, very ominous.
Right.
Good evening.
Did you want to see us?
Yeah.
It was alright for Yash to bring the dogs, so I thought we could bring some more.
Dermot?
That's quite a few dogs, isn't it?
Well, I'm given to understand you wanted lots of dogs. I assume because we are going to hunt for Rose.
I'm just going to give a sidelong glance to Matilda.
I'll sort of very subtly show him the text that I sent to Nanj and just give him a shrug, like.
I'll try and actually like reach out to one of the normal dogs and see if it'll come over and.
Yeah, normal dogs are like sniffing the place slightly. They heed to all the commands Janusz tells them if they're like going in a direction and he doesn't want to. The white Pomeranian actively goes towards Matilda because she recognized the smell and starts like sniffing and trying to like get there for a cuddle because Matilda was very effusive in her.
If Dermot looks like he's trying to approach one of the dogs to stroke it and it looks a bit tentative, Janusz will just say to the dog, sit.
Okay.
That's easier for him to approach.
Exactly. So a dog that is nearby, just as you are approaching it, he just sits and lets you pet it.
I'll make a bit of a fuss of him then.
Now we have the compass. It seems we can follow it to Rose, wherever she is. And we know that she is no longer on land.
Yeah, I bet she's in the shipwreck, right? Like I said.
But for us to get there, we will need a means to travel on the water.
Why can't we just... Not like we're going to drown or die, is it?
I mean, Janusz, can you swim that far? We don't know how far she is out.
Well, I mean, all I'm saying is sunlight doesn't pierce that far down. We managed to sleep on the bottom, it's not going to bother us even slightly. So I'm not saying we don't get, but I'm just saying it's not a barrier.
But it might be useful to get
that's
there.
kind of assuming that she's on the bottom of the ocean. It could be that she's on a boat on top of the ocean.
Either way, come up and down through the water.
Oh, we can, but we probably need a boat to just get out there initially, though.
We will also need to alert the library.
Why?
Well, if we are going to be leaving the city en masse to, in this time of crisis, the librarian will want to know.
Well, it's just back and forth, isn't it?
Yes, we're back and forth out of Bristol and in again.
Well, by that rationale, we've got to tell the librarian every time we go around your gaff, haven't we?
Well, no, we have freedom to move around the city, but not to leave.
But it is gaffing in the city, and we don't have to do it there.
Well, it's a unique situation with my domain, but in terms of leaving the boundaries of Bristol, the librarian will beg to know, and in this case, I'm sure he will give us his blessing as she is an enemy of the city. We may even gain extra support from the library, seeing as the librarian can marshal the forces of Bristol however he sees fit.
I guess. He might even go there himself, and then we ain't got to worry, have we? All done and dusted.
We could put it to him, see what he thinks. We need to think about who else wants to come, though, because I'm pretty sure we extended invitations to others, didn't we? Or they expressed interest in coming with us. Do we want them on the journey with us?
Seems to me if they wish to end her, I would not want to stand in their way.
Well, I reckon, given as how she is thrown in a lot with the society, and as I am handpicked to destroy them, I reckon we don't need anyone but me. I can probably one-man it.
She was very powerful when Dermot and I saw her. I mean,
Yeah, but a lot's changed since then, right? You've got to understand and appreciate that when that happened, I was not a chosen warrior of the gods like I am now. But now I am that. I don't think we've got much to worry about.
Whilst I applaud your courage and desire to do this, hunting down Rose is still a task that should be approached cautiously.
Well, we don't need caution, do we?
Yes,
Why?
we do.
No.
We need caution.
Those things don't add up. If we've got the gods are on our side and they want this woman dealing with...
Yes, the gods are not going to kill Rose for us, Nanj.
No, they're going to give me the power to do it. That's what you said, isn't it?
No. No, I did not say at any point that the gods are going to give you the power to destroy Rose. Those are not the words that left my lips.
Nanj, you are an absolute fucking unit, but it's... I think we could probably still do with some help. And it doesn't mean that you're any less powerful, or any less, capable, but she is just very formidable.
She's also pissed a lot of people off, and some of them might want to join us for taking some, well-meaning revenge.
Well, not to be picky, but every single fucking thing I've ever said in these four walls that you've all disputed has turned out to be right. Just saying.
I'm not disputing that you're a unit, as Matilda put it, but I'm just saying, would you want to deny other people the chance to come with us?
Well, it depends on who the other people are, innit? There are people on the same kind of holy mission as what we're on.
Not people on revenge missions, I suppose.
If there are people who are on her list who would be willing to join this fight, I think we should accept their aid.
Alright.
You still have first dibs at her, Nanj, if you want.
So, it seems there are people that can be contacted. I believe that my best role here would be to speak to the librarian about us intending to leave.
Right.
Yeah.
I suppose your text was a nice way of saying, can you phone up Teach and get a boat?
I mean...
It'd probably be the easiest way.
You do know him the best.
Well, what are we offering him?
Answer.
Because he ain't going to do it for fuck all, does he?
Matilda, do a intelligence plus politics roll. Add your 1 die from your lore sheet of the library.
Apologies. Intelligence politics?
Intelligence and politics, yes. And you add your 1 die from
Cool.
from your library lore sheet.
Fab.
Okay. That is actually a good roll. You could actually you could flag it to not have to offer a favor because
we're doing the work.
You're doing the work that you have been entrusted by the librarian. So it would be actually you effectively, like the multi-faction coteries have been deputized to deal with the situation. You have proven the situation being the Society of Leopold and the Second Inquisition. You, particularly, your coterie has proven a link between Rose and the Society, that she used the Society to further her goals. Therefore, she's within that remit. Since you've been deputized, you can just go and ask. I mean, someone could argue that you can tell Teach, you have to take us, but I mean, it's on your own risk if you want to order and boss the man around. But at least you have enough leverage on your end that you do not need to provide boons, or it would be a conversation between Teach and the librarian. So it's basically like, we need a boat, and we need you to give us a boat, and you have boats, and can you please give us a boat?
Okay, In which case, I'll just say to Nanj, if we play our cards right, then we won't have to offer anything to him.
Just because we ain't
Yeah,
got to
so-
offer anything to him doesn't mean we shouldn't offer something to him.
Well, we can if we want to, but we don't have to. I mean,
What we're saying is, or what you're all saying is, you're not prepared to offer him nothing from the group of us.
what would you like to offer him, Nanj?
Well, whatever I offer him is between me and him. I'm just talking about this separately. Because as you say, because we don't have to do it, that's how I'll present it to him. But then it will look probably better for me if I end up actually offering him something anyways. So I'll phone him up and ask him, and I'll tell him that... What am I telling him? It's his duty to do what we're asking him?
Maybe not in those words. Maybe just say, you can help with the investigation by giving us the boat. Use of the boat.
Sure, I'll give him a call.
And we'd very much appreciate it. La-di-da.
You could tell him that we have found a way to track down and destroy Rose, and that if he could, and that he would be welcome to join us in getting revenge on what she has wrought upon this city.
Well, let's teach on Rose's list.
I'm sure that, he might have been, I'm
Well,
sure, probably,
If he is, and we just
It
pop
was a
that
long
in and
list.
say,
We only got the specifics for ourselves, We didn't really ask, so maybe he is,
Well-
maybe he isn't.
I'm not telling him something that might not be true. If you're
No,
right, and I'm not actually going to be imbued with godlike powers, I don't really need my head being ripped off, do I?
No,
For lying
you-
to him.
You don't.
Diarmuid, he was on the list. He was a recent addition, but he, together with you guys, but yes, he is in the list.
Okay. In which
You
case,
can recall.
but now my memory is refreshed. I'm pretty certain that Sophie said he is on the list.
All right, I'll give him a
He
bell.
has crossed her, and,
All right.
And Nanj should say that he's on the list and it's in his interest as well if he wants to.
I'll phone
mean,
him up then. See what he's got
Have we
to say.
told him who she really is? Because he may well have an interest in putting her in the ground proper.
Just tell him what you all just told me, and he can make his own mind up, can he?
I
Sure.
suppose if he comes, we will all be on a boat with him soon enough. He
Well,
can
the
ask
boat's
us
what I'm
he
asking
wishes.
him for, isn't it? As to whether or not he comes to help us, that's his choice.
Yes, yeah.
Unless you're telling me I've got to ask him that too.
Perhaps we just say we need a boat to get there, and we can discuss the matters of whatever else, when we arrive. I think the fact we need a boat isn't in dispute. It's the question of whether or not we owe him something, or whether or not he comes. But
Will you tell
I
us
presume
if
we
we owe
can
him
deal
something,
that with
won't
him
he?
when we get to talk to him.
I'll phone him up.
While Nanjazal is arranging that, perhaps I should go and seek audience with the librarian.
Would be good. Thank you.
I trust once I have the relevant permissions, I should return here.
You did suggest, quite a pertinent thing just a second ago. We have the means of finding her, but in terms of destroying her, do we have what we need to do that? We have clearly a holy warrior of,
It seems to me that you are right, that the more of us there are, the better. And someone like Teach would be invaluable. I understand Abassi has offered his support. We should take that, whoever has been offered it.
Maybe I'll reach out and see whether or not what he's willing to provide. Maybe he'll be able to provide us some firepower and the likes.
I will see if the librarian is willing to send any of the other interfaction coteries with us.
If we're leaning on Teach, on the basis that he's got a duty to help us, then surely we ought to lean on Roger and Nathan as well. Because they'd be under the same bloody obligation, won't they? Won't they all toddle along? Yeah? And then we'll make short shrift of her, won't we?
Agreed, everyone shares in this
I
responsibility.
can't say to Teach it's his job to come along if you're not going to say it to the two of them.
I agree.
In contact Roger.
Otherwise, Teacher loses mind, and believe me, that ain't what you want to see.
I will, of course, put the matter before the librarian, should he wish to join us also.
Yeah.
Okay.
About time the old folks did something for this city. Might as well ask them.
Yeah, from narrow his eyes slightly, won't say anything.
Oh, so I'll go away to phone Teach.
So our Matilda and Diarmuid also, as Nanj said, will try to contact Roger and Nathaniel respectively to let them know of your hunt for Rose.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds sensible that each member of the coterie contacts the leader of their faction
And
to
just
say,
ask for some assistance.
look,
just say what is going on.
this is what's going on, and this is what we're thinking of doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think that is a good, sensible approach. Unless you want to have a scene because you're going to discuss some things other than just the information that is going to be passed.
Nope.
Then,
Nope.
I mean,
No?
I was going to mention something, but I feel like I've been a bit of a scene hog tonight, so I don't know.
Yeah.
no, if you're going to discuss something.
Yes, there is one additional thing I want to discuss with him. So it's brief.
Yeah. I was asking because it might be that Matilda feels compelled to talk to Roger, or maybe to prod to see what she can do, or maybe Diarmuid feels like the urge to tell Nathaniel and can contain himself. So if there's something along those lines. So the first part of the conversation with the librarian Janusz is fairly straightforward. You are notifying him that you have come into possession of an artifact that will allow you to find the location of this woman. Sadly, she is apparently out at sea. So it will be an effort to get whomever is going to go out and hunt her out of the city, inside of the city. He writes this down, considers it, and he immediately tells you that you and any one of your coterie will have permission to leave the boundaries of the city for this hunt and then return. And as soon as you know who else is composing your hunting party, notify Cassiel or someone from the library. Doesn't have to be himself. He will just grant permission to those to leave the city and enter it and re-enter it because of the mission. So that is fairly straightforward.
So Janusz will say something about obviously this being an ancient Tremere with uses this twisted rituals and evil magics, etc., etc. And is there anyone that he wishes to join us from the library or any of the other multi-faction coteries in the hunt? Because he's commanding this ultimately, but Janusz will put it to him like that.
Okay. He doesn't. Okay, let's go into it. He looks at you and thinks about it. I believe I should focus on the Society of Leopold. This ancient Tremere has been using them. But she is not the Inquisition. I would urge you to find others from the factions while the library focuses on the society.
Well, then perhaps there is something of use I can give you before I go. Our coterie has been investigating society, and it seems as if this group, most of them, believe themselves to be a single, isolated group. They do not know they are part of something bigger. However, they are part of something larger, as we know. And there is an individual outside of Bristol that they will contact, that the leaders of this group will contact. If you wish to get closer to the society's heart, then that is where you may wish to look. I will slip a piece of paper across his desk to him.
Okay, and what does the piece of paper say?
So it's the in the ledger there was the contact.
Oh, okay, the information of the out of the city contact.
Because Janusz basically wants to direct their attention that way rather than say at Father Michael.
Inside. Yes, exactly.
So he's going to give him the name of the higher level contact, the one that's worth going after, in
of course.
Gloucester.
The one he's gonna send someone with lots of dominate and presence to understand how it works, and okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's.
How did you come to find this? Have you managed to infiltrate the society here?
We have been watching them for some time. Watching where they go, watching what they do, where they keep their secrets. And when the opportunity presents itself, we gather what we can.
Anash, the library will now focus its efforts to follow in this link.
Well, I wish you good hunting. That.
Now I'm going to ask you to make a manipulation plus persuasion roll, of course.
Okay.
Because you're not like actively looking to actually,
Is it subterfuge?
A case could be made for subterfuge. If you are basically giving him the carrot, showing him the carrot in the opposite direction of what you're doing. So it could be a subterfuge roll.
You're cool.
Manipulation. Yes, manipulation plus subterfuge. Are you rousing for this check?
Gorgeous.
Okay, you add your dice, and you add 2 dice because Daniel got a critical win. So it's not just the one that the information you're giving him. It's too good of a bait.
Okay.
For him, so you get an extra 2 dice from Nanj, even though she's not in the scene. Look at her.
Okay, I am going to willpower reroll that one.
That's a good idea.
See what we get. There's 5 successes, I think.
That is, yes, 5. Ooh. Okay, that was... It will become evident in what he says. Now, you have said, if the library will give us any support to going hunt Rose, and he was like, no. The library will focus solely in the society because that is the role I've been given. I will follow this lead. Should it be true? Should it show promise? I will send word to your coterie so you can dispatch whatever remains within the city. I might want 1 or 2 for interrogation.
I'm sure we can spare you 1 or 2.
You will have to find your help on with the other factions if you want to tackle this Tremere, though. That is not my responsibility.
Very well.
And he just stares blankly at the page.
Yeah, I will.
This is... And you...
See myself out.
Yeah. Okay. Nanj, do you want to convey any other information or have a conversation with Teach about anything else other than, hey, this is the situation with Rose. She's actually a Tremere. He knows, of course, because you already told him.
Yeah, no, I was just being obstreperous. So I will so my plan is, yes, find out, get the boat, and also find out if he will come and help us. And I will also say that that the same request in terms of help is being made of Roger and Nathaniel, because I feel like Teach is the kind of person who won't want to miss out.
Important. Oh yes, your rouse check. You go to hunger. You go up on hunger again, Janet.
Yeah.
Yes, Nanj. Actually, he turns to you and says, like, you say I'm on that list as well.
Who he says? I reckon you want a chance to kick her head in, don't you?
I want to see that fucking list.
Well,
can you get me that list?
Me
that list and I go for free. you will go on my boat, and I'll go for free. But you get me eyes on that list.
I'll do what I can. Sure. I can't remember who's got it or who saw it, but I'll find out and get it sent over to you.
Yeah. I'll get you a boat.
But the thoughts are, I think, we go in today or tomorrow. So, if you're
it'll take a couple of days to sort things out on my end.
All right, I've got a couple of days to get you a list, haven't I?
Yeah.
All
He
right,
explains. Yeah, and he basically roughly explains to you that if you're gonna put vampires on a trip that is gonna last more than one night, it becomes problematic. Like if you're leaving the moment the sun goes down, and you're returning before sunrise, all's well. It's still very dangerous. It's lots of kindred in a confined space. But if you pretend to spend more than one night out, you start having to take on provisions. As in, you need bigger boats so they have bigger crews that can be fed upon.
I'll say, bye.
So he will start doing that logistics, because lucky for you, he's done this in the past, where there was no technology or freezers or things. But it'll take some days of sorting.
So when does he think? Whatever day he thinks he can be ready, I will. Yeah. I'll go back and tell the coterie that, assuming we can get Teach a copy of the list, he can be ready with a boat and himself for nothing in
about 5 days or a week, because also it's not going to be just the four of you. He is assuming that also Roger and Nathaniel might come. So yeah, he says about a week of preparation.
Yeah. So I don't know who's got a copy of the list, but if it's Dermot, I'll probably ask Dermot if he's.
Okay. So speaking of Dermot, in your conversation with Nathaniel, do you think you would not show what you know to the seer of Bristol?
So I think Dermot would certainly keep his word in not saying anything to Nathaniel directly. I think he's going to ask, obviously, inform, give up state. I mean, he already knows that it's Rose, so that's part of the way. And but he'll be trying to sort of ask what can we essentially get. Abassi has obviously offered to provide some assistance, so the Ventrue a good place to go on that. But he's not really wanting to point him in that direction suddenly. So he can say, look, if you can sort out the rest, maybe I'll contact Abassi and see if I can, call him for what he's offered. So I've at least got that link, and then try and point him towards any other help, so that he's not going towards Abassi, just in case.
Okay. He has very limited options, like the Camarilla lost these warring clans, and the Bruja and Gangrel. So the only people that the Camarilla as a faction have that are, combat ready, as sort of like following the stereotype, quote unquote, would be the Banu Hakim, of which there are only 3 in the city, and one of them is kind of an elder that's probably not going to go. And the Nosferatu, which mostly belong to the library. So some of the firepower, it comes in the form of the Ventrue and the people they can buy for firepower. Because the Malkavian and the Toreador, not that much. There is, though, the conversation of him talking to the Tremere. It's like, you take care of Abassi. I will have to talk to the Tremere. Yeah, because he will ask.
The Tremere the sheriff is Tremere as well, so may have an interest in whatever.
Oh no, he's saying that he will talk to the Tremere. The sheriff is going with you, by default. He's not sending anybody else. He's sending Alexander Walker with you. Mm-hmm. It's like, you're coming to the Camarilla to ask for help in taking a rogue Tremere. I'm giving you my Tremere sheriff to deal with her, and possibly anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, now that he mentions the Banu Hakim, there is one Banu Hakim who probably has a desire to get some vengeance. So,
you can mention that. And
after what happened to Squid, maybe she might want to join the hunt as well.
Okay, he'll keep that in mind. So he'll probably recruit Audrey as well.
Mm-hmm.
So at least you know you're taking at the very least those two with
A couple of people, yeah. And then it's just obviously if you can't afford to send many men, it's just whether or not as a Camarilla, whether or not we can offer much in terms of equipment or resources, that kind of thing.
Yeah. He will pull strings if Teach, because you're saying that Nanjasel's talking to Teach for a boat.
Yeah.
He'll pull strings so any boats can pass whatever to whatever, He's gonna do the Camarilla side of things, the politics.
Yeah.
He's gonna remove blockers. Okay.
Sounds good.
How about Matilda?
Yeah. I will likewise try and sort of play on kindred pride and just say everyone else is getting involved. Don't you? Why don't you want to? And yeah, and we've got lots of Bruja, so I might suggest Christopher. Is it Christopher Hughes?
Hughes, yes.
Yeah. So he might want to get stuck in.
Okay, so Roger is not big on the whole kindred pride, anarch pride kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because he's old and he thinks differently. Sorry?
Because he's old, he doesn't care, even though he's the leader of the adult.
I didn't want to say that.
Even though he's the leader of the adult, he doesn't care if they all die because he's old.
That is,
as long as I'm alive.
That is exactly it. I didn't want to say it that way, to put it that bluntly. But yeah. So of course there's some people that might have a bone to pick. He says that it's he mentions Mitchell. He would be interested. But of course, he knows that he's in the wind.
Okay. Cool.
He doesn't know what happened to him. He doesn't know where he is. Yeah. But he does say that there is a Nosferatu representative called Balasar from BS29. You've seen him once or twice. Who would like to do something about Squid, because there are only two Anarch Nosferatus, Balasar and him, right, and Squid. So Balasar would like to step in, sort of like a surrogate father, because he was left with the task of maybe looking over Squid from time to time by Cuttlefish, Squid's father. Kraken's child. They have this very nautical, fish-related or mollusk-related name. The Kraken, the Cuttlefish, and the Squid. So Balasar would be has offered to help. So far, yeah. But Roger does ask you about Rose in more detail. Because I think this is the first time about Rose.
Oh yeah.
Because I think this is the first time he's being made fully aware of the true identity of Rose.
Oh yeah, I'll fill him in. I'll tell him that his name's on the list. I'll tell him that he was incriminated kind of by her and her freaky visions as well. So
okay, let's make that a short scene before we go on the break then. So he listens to you very attentively. He says nothing. He just asks the odd question. And after you finish everything, so we have been chasing our own tails.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Are you certain she's holding such a grudge because of a lover that died?
That's what all the evidence points to. Might be something more. Might be a grudge that's mutated into other grudges. It's ended up where it is. She seemed very angry.
Why didn't you mention this vision when I show up? This, of course, implanted vision, now we know. But back then you didn't know. Have you been thinking me of a suspect all this time?
No, quite the opposite. I didn't mention it because I didn't believe it was you. Thought it was preposterous.
Manipulation for the subterfuge?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, just because, I mean, reasons.
It's not yet.
You can rouse the blood if you want to.
Yeah, sure.
You will, okay. That will give you 2 dice.
Oh yeah, I have nothing in subterfuge, so I probably should.
Restoration is the other one, but you will not be as straightforward as saying, I thought it was a lie. You would just swing the conversation into, well, I talked to my coterie to keep it under wraps because it was not what I thought, or something. Like you're gonna probably use a different approach.
I'll take that, yeah.
Unless you wanted to go with subterfuge and make it super easy.
It's probably subterfuge. Subterfuge, and I'll rouse. So charisma, subterfuge.
That would make more sense. Yes.
Oh, yikes! Sorry, I clicked too fast.
You're a fast clicker.
Do you want me to roll it again, or
manipulation? Yeah, manipulation plus subterfuge.
Thank goodness.
Manipulation plus subterfuge. Add your 2 dice from.
My apologies.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's not like the roll 20 is gonna run out of dice to roll. So we can misclick as many times as we want. Manipulation, subterfuge, 2 dice from your rouse check, and that would be it.
Yep. How's that?
Are you gonna re-roll with willpower?
Oh, how's it looking?
It's looking bad. It's only 1 success.
Okay, yeah, sure, I'll reroll.
You can roll all 3 of your hunger dice.
Fabulous.
Because your 1 success was in a hunger die.
Embarrassing. Okay.
That's a little bit better. That's 3 successes.
I need to rouse still though.
And you need to rouse, yes, please. Okay. So you go to hunger 4 again.
I'm sure Roger won't see through this.
No, it's
only 1,000 years old.
I mean, he's not used to people lying to him.
Yeah.
He's only massively powerful. Okay, yeah, sure. So I'll just try and keep as cool as I can.
Yeah, of course. He asked you who else knew about this vision besides your coterie.
Teach did, didn't he?
Yes.
Okay. I'll say Teach was made aware of it. He was also told that it was not to be trusted.
Right.
I'm sure he can appreciate that these things get complicated. The passing of information isn't exactly simple and easy all the time.
Matilda, I think very highly of you. Always have. It's very rare for one of your clan to take the path that you chose to walk. You also seem to have a way with people. You always want them to feel safe and protected. You always want to solve their problems, make them your own. All of those are very good qualities. You're also politically keen. You're astute. You're likable and also very good and engaging. But you have one terrible flaw. You're a very bad liar. This is not the first time I feel you're saying things that are not what you feel. that are not how they should be. I don't mind people lying to me. Everybody does. They think that my age has gotten in the way of my thinking. I'm never curious as to what the truth is. I'm more curious about why would people lie. And in your case, it's always transparent. Every time we've had a conversation, every time you've lied to me in the past, well, with now that what you're telling me about this, Rose, a lot of it becomes clear. But if you're to survive in this world, Matilda, you need to learn how to hide that.
I appreciate the constructive criticism. I don't ever lie to you because I want to.
But I can't believe. Is there any lie you would like to tell me against your will? I am sure to understand. I'm sure I will understand if your hand is forced in one way or another. But you're coming here with information about someone who wants my head, who has wanted my head for centuries. Someone who has managed to take others out of the way. So I will come personally to seek her out with you. Not as a favor, and not because I see her as a threat, but because I'm curious.
Curious to see what comes of it all. Curious to see if you can finish off yourself. How curious?
My curiosity stems from the fact of someone who is not as old as me and is lost. When you've been like this for so long, at times it gets to you. I believe I was lucky to be able to be taken out for 2.5 centuries. And now I have come to the city with a newly found, rekindled zest for on life. I've been up less than 10 years and I still feel that it's not enough.
Good. Because you're needed on that boat.
Will I need it anywhere else? That
Sorry,
you know
but-
of. Sorry, okay.
Sorry,
Will I
Carlos,
need it?
what did he ask? I didn't hear.
Yeah, he asked, will I need to anywhere else? Will I need to worry about it anywhere else?
Perhaps.
Thank you. And he gives you a knowing look, as in, you could have lied to me. You could have told me the truth. I saw right through you. There's another thread that you're not mentioning. But again, your hand is forced not to say anything. Or at least that is the impression he wants you to live with. And in that note, we're going to take this to a break. So do we have any shout outs?
Nope.
No. Well, first I wanna give a big shout out to Phil, the man with the sword, moderating on the chat. He's the one who's making me aware if there's any issues with my microphone, which it seems to have been sorted. And of course, this is again and will be for the rest of the Chronicle Peter Appreciation Week because he is our in-house tech ghoul. So
Guided by the spirit of Mitch.
And of course, the spirit of Mitch. Send a lot of love to Peter in his Peter Appreciation Week. And of course, always big shout outs to Sam and to Mitch because you're all awesome and amazing. We're going to go for a 15-minute break. It's 8:35, so we'll be here at 8:50, 10 to 9 UK time. Okay, so see you in 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere because apparently some people are going to go on a boat trip. Bye.
Bye.
Hello and welcome back for this second part of episode 8 of Blood on the Severn, and we're approaching the end of our chronicle on the 21st of June. But right now we have our coterie, and everybody has had a chat with the leader of their faction and have basically gotten the information they needed to make the arrangements. So I believe after everybody has had a chance to do, these conversations, everybody would be ready at around midnight. So if you are going to go back to the HQ, or if you're going to do something else beforehand, I would like to know.
Sorry, I can't remember if we agreed to re-meet up. Because what I'm thinking is, I can absolutely convey to everybody what's been agreed. But I don't know that unless we'd agreed to meet back up, that Nanj would go, because she wants to go back to Janish's Haven and do special things with stakes.
Yeah, I think you can just relay the information.
Yeah. So I'll let them know, and I'll let Dermot know that Teach wants a copy of the list. So I'll ask him if he can give that to me, and I'll give it to Teach.
Okay.
But otherwise, I'll head back to yeah.
Okay. What are the others doing?
I think Janusz agreed that he would go back to the HQ because it's not like he's going to phone them, is he? So to let them know what happened. I mean, if Nanj doesn't, he'll obviously relay that.
Nanj will have Lug drive him wherever he wants to go.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's easier that way.
Yep.
So is Janusz back at the HQ or back at his...
He'd go back to the HQ to tell the others about the librarian giving them a free pass, basically.
Matilda will also be going to the HQ.
Okay. And Diarmuid, I assume.
Yeah, I think Dermot, now that he knows that there's a list needed, is probably going to have to go downstairs and write a list.
Yes. Or, well, you can ask Hubert, because he's the custodian of
I'll need to double check it, but I'll write down the names I can remember, and then I'll ask Hubert to confirm when he gets a chance all the names that are on the list, so I can then write them. Because I don't know, did you say that he needs the list or?
He needs the list. He wants a copy of the list.
Great. So I'll get him a copy of the list.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
With which ones are crossed out as well.
Yeah. So the three of you will meet at the HQ. So Nanj, so what preparations are you going to be doing in Janish's Haven?
I'm going to go where Janusz took me this evening, where he told me that I'm a warrior of the gods.
Mm-hmm.
And as I recall, there were some trees around there.
Yes.
I'm going to take from the tree a branch or two, basically craft a branch into a number of stakes, whatever number I can get out of it. And I'm going to pray myself in this area and spread my blood over the stakes for blessings of Kapala.
Okay.
And then my plan is obviously to take them, stab Annie with them repeatedly, and then bury them back in the ground here to feed Kapala.
Oh, okay.
So that she can have the blood of his nemesis, etc.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a rouse check for you to see if you go hungry from consecrating the stakes. You do not.
It's
holy work. It's because it's holy work, yeah, exactly.
Don't even need to say anymore.
No.
Interestingly, at some point, Evelina aids you because she's sort of like the second in
command.
In command, with all respects of rituals. Actually, like the structure of the inner circle, let's call it, of the Children of Summer has slightly shifted. Yes, Evelina is the second in command because she is the right hand person of Janusz and has been for ages, but also she's sort of like a right master together with him. But you stand higher in the hierarchy because you're kindred.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least that's how she perceives it.
Well, she's correct to perceive it that way. Well done, Evelina.
Yeah, because she likes being alive.
Good work. Maybe she can tell us Zane.
So, well, I mean, if you want to have a conversation with her, she's going to be there because what you're going to do is consecrate the stakes in a holy place.
Yes.
She can assist, and you do see that she has some knowledge of the blood sorcery that Janusz knows. Like she's been trained in this.
Well, I will talk to her then. I'll chat to her. I'll say, you've spent a long time serving with Janusz.
Yes, ever since I was little. My grandmother used to serve him, but then she went back to Poland to be with Janusz's sire, Danik.
Well, Janusz doesn't talk about him very much. I noticed from what you've been doing here, you know some of the same things. You know, in terms of what we can do for our blood and the light.
Yes.
Did he teach you?
Yes. I have learned doing all the rituals by his side or forever.
You reckon he'll teach me?
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
Reckon he'll teach me?
Yeah, I could teach you the basics, because after all, you do most of our prayers and rituals with us, and then he would definitely teach you all the literary the rituals we do.
Well,
so
if you're willing to teach me the basics, that'd be great. I was having a conversation with Janusz earlier tonight, and he was saying about the message what Zane heard from Tom. Did Zane tell you all about it?
Well, yes, it was a strange message.
But Janusz said that message is me. I'm that worried.
But you would never turn against us.
No, well, that's what he said. And he's right. I wouldn't. But, you know what Janusz is like, clever, isn't he? So he figured it out. And he said, because I was ready to understand more about what was going on. Stuff what you know and he knows. So, it ties in with that. You show me how to do it. Be a better warrior. I'm better at protecting all of you. Especially you. I ain't got to worry. If anyone comes here, I deal with them.
Well, I only know one ritual of protection that Janusz taught me a long time ago. Maybe that's what you want to do with the stakes?
Well, the stakes are for dealing with someone like us. But the main reason why we're doing it here, in the way what we are, is because then, when I stab her with them, I collect up her blood, bring it back here, I'll feed it to the brain. That is going to help. More power. Because also, she's got it in for Kapala. That's why she's
Who is this enemy of us? Is it someone who was responsible for the massacre all those years ago?
Well, I don't think that she did it. I don't think she came here and did it. But she is working with the people what did directly. That's how comes they had more information about it. It's how comes they came back. So we're going to take care of her, make sure she don't come back again. It seems to me the best thing for Kapala is if he gets fed blood of those what are his enemies. She's right on one of those. So the more I
got in my arsenal, so you see her, she's quite upset. So she's clenching her fist and says, "Do you know the name of this person? Who is this person?"
I know the name of her. But let me tell you, Don't make no sense for you to go after her. Like
I will
us.
not. No, I need her name and know who she is. It will make my ritual more potent.
Right?
Who she is, if I know who she is.
Well, I got 2 names for her. But I think the one that's closest to her true name is Booze. Did I have a surname, Carlos? I can't remember.
I think you did not.
Okay, then I'll say it's Rose, but she's also known as Annie Turner.
Okay, Rose, Annie
So
Turner.
whatever you can do.
Is she like you and Janusz?
She's like me and Janusz, but she's really bloody old. And worse than that, fucking Tremere. So she is into corrupted blood sorcery.
No, at the mention of that, Evelina, her eyes widened in a gleam of like hatred.
I'll nod
Hatred,
sagely.
Like my grandmother used to tell me stories about them.
Well, I bet your grandmother knew all about how awful they are.
The awful stories. She asks you to go there where the stakes are. And she sits in the ground and starts the prayers with you, and she guides you through the prayers, and then she grabs a knife and she cuts open the soles of her feet and bleeds in the ground. And you remember Janusz doing that at some point. He used that to protect himself from the magics
Yes,
of that war that almost burnt you. And you hear her saying similar words to what Janusz said that night. So when you do your rouse check, is you also cutting the soles of your feet and bleeding them into the earth and then consecrating the stakes. And she says, do this. Cut your feet open when you're gonna wield this stakes.
We do it a second time. Alright.
Do it at the moment.
Right.
And Kopala will help you.
That sounds to me like it's a perfect resolution. Now,
then she binds her feet and puts some bandages and stuff, and
I'll
and
help
sort of
her. I'll help her. I'll say, now Evelina, you've got to make sure you stay here and stay safe, because we ain't going to go after this girl for another few days. But when we do, we're going to put her in the ground for good. Sure.
Yeah. You do that. You show that Tremere. And she, with that anger, the anger that does not allow her to even wince at the pain of walking on those bandages and her cut feet on the grass of the grounds, she leaves you there. And she is livid. You can see it seething.
Before she leaves, I'll say to her, what was your grandmother's name?
Alina Sobol.
Okay. I'll carve that into the stake. On her behalf.
Excellent. Cool.
Then I wait to give Janusz his stick when he comes back.
Meantime, the rest of the coterie are in the HQ. While Dermot is waiting for the rest, Hubert will send you the list. The list has all sorts of names. Some of them you remember or recognize, like Prince William Griggs, previous Prince of the Camarilla, Giacomo Mazza, the former Master of Trade, Teach's sire. Roger Smith is right there. The librarian, Polymathus, is in that list as well. You have the sisters. These are Camarilla names that you recognize, the sisters. So there's Mary Roose Fowler, now Mary de Taureau, former harpy of the Bristol Camarilla. And by reading the name de Taureau, you'd know that she's someone from Carl's bloodline. Yeah. There is also Agnes Marston Fowler, the sire of Jonathan Fowler. There's a name that you recognize, Raphael, a holy man of the Malkavians of the 16th and 1700s. There is the name of of Waterman, the former sheriff, Thomas Waterman, former sheriff of the Camarilla. And then there are some anarch names. Some of them you recognize, as Charles Shrike, Jacinta. Those names are there.
Mm-hmm.
Zachariah Darnson. Don't recognize the name, but you heard it recently from Charles Shrike's own voice. Kraken, Squid's grandparent. Then
It's an ambitious list.
Yeah. you have some autarchies as well. Susanna Willoughby of the Toreador. There is also the name of Ambrose, someone who used to be the administrator of the library, first administrator of the library before Cassiel. And then there are two names that you have never seen anywhere, and that Hubert mentions that they're not in any record of the city of Bristol, which are one is Temperance, which is apparently from it's not even a clan or bloodline that you recognize.
Temperance.
Yeah, and the other one is Tim, and you're not sure that's his real name. It says Samedi, but he's most likely not his real name.
Okay. Oh, I'll get them all down. Meticulously make 2 lists, one for us, one for each.
And of course, it has new additions. Like the most recent additions are. You think the people that have gotten in the way of her revenge of late? And the names that you find are Carl's name, which has been crossed out of the list, with the only one that has not been killed but removed. From the list, with the explanation that he's the only one who's been kind to me. And then there is your name, Janusz's name, Nanjasel's name, Matilda's name. There's Teach's name. There's Obasi's name.
Okay.
Oh.
With the annotation.
He's such a lovely guy, isn't he?
The annotation says reserved for Caleb. Or a gift reserved for Caleb. So it's basically no Obasi is not there because of her. It's at the petition of Caleb. So he's there. And oddly enough, another name in that list is Alexander Walker.
Okay.
There's also Squid and Audrey.
Okay. Right. Get the list made.
That is basically the full list. So
take a photo of the list on my phone as well.
Giggle.
As
arrives.
As Dermot is making this list, whilst he's definitely said to Matilda that he's not going to say anything to Nathaniel, he will be brooding, and this list of death is going to start getting him to a point where he's starting to reach out across the cobweb.
Okay.
And that feeling, that paranoia, is just going to start vibrating out. So that he's not going to say anything, but he is clearly trying to put out sort of a feeling of shadowy figures lurking, of people hunting, of a danger coming, present.
Okay,
you'll think of the Duchess a bit upstairs, just
waiting to strike.
Yeah, he starts throwing out a feeling and a warning across the web.
Okay. Let me make a note of that. Okay, so Matilda takes a picture of the list. And by the time you're finished, Janusz is arriving as well. So the three of you are in the haven. You haven't had the chance to discuss what has happened because Matilda just got here. You're finishing with the list. You got distracted. But Janusz is here, yeah.
Yeah, when he walks in, I'll just ask, what do the librarians say?
The librarian has granted permission for us to go on this hunt and as a coterie. And any additional members that we accrue and our various talks, I am simply to inform the library and they will be added to the list of those with permission.
Well, from our end, we hadn't got the largest amount of people, but what we do have is a large amount of influence. So Nathaniel's going to be organising a number of bureaucratic freedoms that we might need, to get out of port or any other bits that need sorting, and maybe a little bit of equipment if required. But he has said that there's two people who maybe are going to come along. Firstly, the sheriff, who incidentally is on the list, it seems, so he's got an interest in this. And he also, after some conversation, suggestion that maybe Audrey might be interested in joining us too, especially after what happened to Squid.
Yes, that seems sensible.
So there's potentially two names.
Yeah, we've got two names from the annex as well. Got a Nosferatu, who's friends with Squid, who wants a bit of revenge, and Roger.
Talk.
Well, good. That's very pleasing.
I mean, yeah, don't do things by halves. But he's happy to come along.
Well, way to outgun us there,
Yeah, that's all right.
What do you promise him to get him along then?
Just said some nice things to him. Just was kind and polite.
Now, what of Nanjazal? Has she spoken with Teach?
Yeah, she did send a message to...
Yeah.
Yeah, but assumedly Janusz didn't get it.
Yeah.
She's let us know that Teach is okay with everything, but provided he gets the list, he'll come along. So I've been getting the list for him.
Well, that sounds excellent. When do we leave?
My message will have said that Teach said he needed 5 days to organise the boat and everything with it.
We need 5 days because we need provisions and some food.
That will be time to prepare. So, are there any other things you wish to discuss before this 5 days is up?
Look at Dermot.
Well, it's going to take a little while, it seems. I hadn't realised it was going to take quite so long.
Nor I. I had assumed there was some urgency in this, but there you are.
Well,
I think it's just red tape and bureaucracy, isn't it? It just takes a little while.
give us time to get a few things together, I suppose. But we should probably keep an eye and make sure she's not moving too much. So we might want to just do a double check on the old compass and all.
Yes, that sounds wise. I will, of course, make some preparations before the trip.
I mean, Nanj seemed ready to go tonight. She's pretty gung-ho at the moment.
Well, no, she's filled with the holy power of whatchamacallit.
Yeah, she said the Holy Guardian.
Well, you must understand that Nanjazal has defended a space which we consider sacred from the enemies of the faith. You, Matilda, were there when that happened.
No, I don't.
And she has pledged to defend that place whenever it is attacked. Though, as I said at the time, I did not intend to make her reckless, merely to recognise the service that she had done.
Well, I'm just glad that she's in a happier mood because she weren't so happy the other night.
Yes, indeed.
So keep doing what you're doing, Janusz. That's good going.
It was my intention to take that anger and not have it lash out at any of us.
Thank you. It's appreciated because an angry Nanj is a lot.
Well, I think we all got a bit of anger as
yeah.
But I'd rather direct it against those that deserve it.
Indeed, quite
Right.
so. Well, I suppose I should be moving on, but before I do, Dermot, am I to understand you wish to adopt a dog? I had the impression from Nandazel you wished me to bring some over. I assumed you wished to choose one that was fitting, such that it might guard your home.
Well, we could have one around here in the HQ if you want. You know, it's always good to have a guard dog in here, just in case anybody tries anything.
Well, whichever pleases you, please consider it a gift from me.
We haven't got an Irish wolfhound, so I'd say I think maybe that one that took a liking to me.
Ah.
Was he a cross or was he like a purebred?
Was it the Pomeranian that he'd... No, the Pomeranian went to Matilda.
It was
a Kuvax, yeah.
It was
a Kuvax, yeah. I'll say it is a Kuvax like the Duchess, just not quite as large.
Fair enough. Well, I think if, as you say, they make good dogs, good guard dogs. So yeah, we could have some space around here for her.
They're loyal and they are gentle.
Ah, good.
Very even-tempered.
Maybe it'll get me a bit more used to, hanging around with the Duchess and all.
Well, I will be happy to give you any advice you might need on the care of the animal. It's what I do.
Well, it's okay, I know how to look after a dog.
Ah, good. Well, then I will say no more and leave you to it. So he'll look to see if it looks like these two are going to raise any other, items of business. And if not, he will then say, well, then I will bid you good evening. But perhaps, seeing as we have this lull of time, tomorrow night, Matilda, if you could spare some time, if you could come by, something I would speak to you about.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. Well, good night to you all. And he will make a show of, leaving the dog and tying it there for Dermot's use. And then he'll get the other dogs and he'll leave. Get his lug cab back home.
Okay. Anything else that the two of you are gonna be doing after Janusz is gone?
I think maybe a moment.
Yeah.
It seems timescales have changed somewhat from what we thought originally.
Yeah, it seems a bit different. My thinking is, Abasti wants a place where Roger's vulnerable. I wonder whether we lead him to think that that's the boat.
You want to set a trap?
It seems like a sensible idea. I don't imagine anywhere else would be. I can't think of anywhere else. And I wonder whether you could actually try and get Nathaniel on that boat as well. Perhaps you could tell him.
Tell him about what might be happening.
Say it's in his interest to maybe be there.
I'm not in the habit of luring McKinn into a place without them being able to make a decision about it themselves. If I'm honest. He is the prince.
He is.
And he hasn't given indication that he's going to come.
Which is fair. The worry is that if Abasti does get Roger, then he's coming for the prince next, so...
Well, if you're intending on luring him out onto a boat, likelihood is he'd want to do it all at one time. And if he were going to do it all at one time, then I'd imagine he'd want to hit Nathaniel whilst we're out of town. Like when the sheriff is out of town. The likes. I don't know. I don't know, really. Mind of Abasti is a dark place. I don't really like to venture into that kind of territory.
Likewise. Not if I can help it.
But if I'm gonna raise the alarm bells, I want to raise them properly.
You can raise them proper with Nathaniel, but if it goes any further, then Abasti's going to know that I spilled the beans. And then the librarian comes for me, and then it doesn't matter anymore.
It's strange how the Malkavian have visions at times, you know. Things come to them. And he's known to be an oracle. It's hard to get the jump on an oracle.
It is. Do you think he's got enough foresight to... He might know it's already happening. Perhaps you go to him.
Maybe I'll have a
Suggest it.
conversation and just ask him whether or not he's seen anything. I need to ask him about Ragnar anyway. See how that went down.
Yeah, you need to do that. I think I'm just going to tell Roger at this point as well. Told you. Deed's done. But if you're going to tell Nathaniel, or if you're going to fish for information, then I'd appreciate a little bit of delicacy.
I will not say anything about where I got any information from.
Thank you.
Hey, and with that, I assume you both make arrangements to meet with Nathaniel and Roger at some point in these 5 days.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Nanj, besides the preparations for the stakes, you mentioned that you were going to do more reconnaissance work on the society.
Yeah. So once I've got the stakes ready, I will spend the rest of my time. So I'll need to eat, but otherwise than that, I will spend the rest of my time just tracking down as many actual, addresses or places where these people live as I can in that period of time.
Okay, so you're not massively hungry. You're at hunger 3.
Yeah.
So if you're happy
to be
with
hungry on the boat.
Yeah, but the boat trip is in a week's time or 5 days time. So if you're happy with spending the rest of the evening hunting and then scouting, because now we have time, we can nothing is super time pressive or time sensitive.
Yeah, I basically just don't want to be going into the trip hungry. Is my goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So since the trip is going to take place at some point, in the next week, for the others that have heard, you will be able to, if you check on your herd, you can jump into the boat at hunger 1. 0 if you choose to, go the extra mile. And for Nanj, we'll just keep Nanj in low hunger.
Oh yeah.
Because if she's going to be scouting in some of those moments, if she finds an opportunity, she will take it, and if not, she will then actively go and hunt.
Yes, but because of that, she's not going to be killing people, so she's only going to be on hunger.
Okay. But I do feel that there was a sort of like an end of a conversation between Janusz and Nanj that evening.
Yes, so she will, whenever he gets back, she'll want to tell him about the stakes.
Okay.
So exactly. So let's do that and then do the little skips on time.
Right.
Okay.
So at whatever point you get back, I'll find you. Mm-hmm. Which I imagine is not hard.
Yeah, it's not hard to find him.
I'll be carrying with me. Carlos, how many stakes can I have made?
You made 3.
Okay, I'm carrying with me 3 wooden stakes.
Okay.
And I'll come and say, all right, Jan?
Yes.
Do you see the librarian, all right?
I did, yes.
Well, while he was doing that, I made you one of these.
May I?
Sure.
So he'll take the stake and he'll examine it. He's made some stakes in his time. He'll run his thumb along the wood.
I imagine the craftsmanship is not great in terms of the stake itself, but I'll say, so we made this, the trees where we was talking earlier. Also, me and Evelina blessed it. Also, me and Evelina put protections on it. So I thought we'd use it, either kill Annie, or otherwise collect her blood and then put them back in the ground.
I like the way your thoughts run, Nanj. I think it would be a worthy tribute.
3. So I was going to give 1 to you, keep 2 for myself, unless you think. By the way, Evelina was upset. I told her about Annie.
Was there something specific that upset her?
Well, I mean, she's just aware of the fact that the Tremere are all dogs, isn't she? So when I mentioned it,
yes,
she was pretty angry. That's why I put her grandmother's name on this one. Put it in. I thought it's meaningful, isn't it?
Let us make sure that stake returns here, above all the others. Well, this is excellent news, Nanj. Excellent news indeed. I have asked Matilda to come visit soon. There is a delicate task I would like us to carry out in the coming nights.
What? Me and you and Matty? All about it.
Well, whilst this is a task that I think you are more than capable of handling on your own, I want to make sure that they do not remember what's happened. Hilda will be able to ensure that.
Oh, right.
And she is keen she is supportive of our need for revenge on the Society.
Oh, so she should be. She was here when they tried to kill us all, wasn't she?
Yes.
It's hard to have a different opinion when someone tried to murder you in your own bed.
It does sharpen the mind somewhat.
Right. Well, so she's coming here tomorrow, right?
Yes, and we might... but it would be useful if you could... If any of those you've observed, either directly in the Society or in the flock, that you think would be easy for us to approach, it would be good to know that in advance.
Well, I was having a plan tomorrow to go and track down the first lot of them, to where they live. So I could start doing that, and as I could tell you which ones I think are easiest.
Excellent. Yes, that would be most helpful. Thank you.
But you don't just want me to bring them back here.
No,
I found them.
I do not want them to die at all yet. Because if we were to strike on one now, the others would be on their guard. I want this to look like an accident, not even a fatal accident, just an accident.
Right. Do I need to be preparing anything else? Oh, teach copy of the list. So I reckon.
Yes, Dermot mentioned something about this. He is preparing a list,
right,
such that Teach will have it. But I believe that is Teach's price. As you believed there would be one. This is it.
Right, and Teach said he would come for nothing if he had a list, and he would help out killing her.
Good. Well, oh yes, you may not have heard. Whilst they are also a Tremere, which does not fill me with happiness, the sheriff is going to join us on this hunt. And
what are you about?
Yes, in this capacity.
We need to keep an eye on him, don't we?
Let them kill each other.
Right.
And
what do you think? Well, maybe I look for an opportunity to make that happen, right?
There is also there are a few others that are coming, but the important other name was Roger Smith will be joining us.
What, the Anarch bloke? Oh, I guess that will distract her then, isn't it?
I would think that between all of them and Teach, that we should have ample opportunity to apply these to Rose's flesh.
Well, that sounds sensible, although Teach was worried about one thing. He's right. If you put a lot of our vampires in the same place, he was worried about what that results in. And I reckon if there's anyone else along for the ride that Roger's got beef with, they can probably kiss themselves goodnight, right?
And let us stay on Roger's good side.
Well, we got to stay on the edge, because I reckon there's probably a bigger fight. She's going to die quite quick, all these.
Yes, we must be careful.
Wait, do you think... What if they do kill her, and then they get to fighting amongst each other, and there's an opportunity for me, I've got the right equipment with me, to hack off some part of her and bring it back here, and then I can bury it. Like her tongue, say.
If the opportunity comes, yes. Excellent. Well, I will see you tomorrow.
All right. Well, I'll make sure I've got, I don't know, a ton of knives to hack parts of her off if the opportunity arises. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do a few scenes in this week in which you're making preparations. I think one of the ones I want to go with first is going to be Dermot and Nathaniel Part 2. Hello. How can I help you, Dermot? Is everything for the voyage ready?
Things are going well. I think we're all moving in the right direction. Timings are set, so should be a good trip, really. All things considered.
Let's hope everything is resolved swiftly.
Aye.
And
well, we're taking a lot of people that's on good old Rose's list, so, I'm sure she'll probably be quite happy about it too, because, it's an ambitious list, and maybe she'll hope that she can kind of wipe us all out in one go.
Oh, she's been doing this one by one over the centuries, so...
Maybe this will be a bit more than she can handle then.
Perhaps. She's still Tremere. She still can prepare in ways that we cannot anticipate. That's why I'm sending Alexander.
It's good. It's just I've been having some bad nights. Well, days. It's all very confusing.
I felt it. You've imprinted your fears in the cobweb. I can feel them. I can feel them now. What is troubling you?
I was just I don't normally get the old visiony things, but maybe it's been spending too much time around these crazy cult types, Maybe I'm
coterie mate.
Yeah, maybe it's just connecting with Sophie and the likes, but I've just got a bad feeling. Just been having... I don't know, can you describe them as nightmares? Do you ever have nightmares? You're a bit of an oracle, aren't you? Do they ever feel like that?
Yes, I do. That's why I don't voluntarily seek my visions out anymore. I just have learned that sometimes they will become true no matter what. But then all of a sudden some information comes and changes things, or someone does something that changes the future. It's strange, isn't it? That we believe that we can learn from the actions of the unmutable past, but that somehow by changing our actions today, we can affect the future. Change the future, remember the past, but never the other way around. I sometimes remember the future, and I sometimes feel as if the past changes.
I really don't hope I start getting to that level of craziness. I mean, that sounds pretty crazy and like difficult to deal with. So I'm sorry you have to deal with that.
Oh, it's a blessing and a curse. That's what I tell myself, and that's how I choose to live with it.
Well, I don't know if you can help me. I've been getting eggy feelings for a while. I thought maybe it was the whole Ragnar thing, but is that dealt with?
Yes, I dealt with him myself after a fashion, yes.
I thought I'd been dealt with, but it's still kind of there, and it's just been getting worse. Got a feeling like the clan, like you're all in danger. And I'm kind of stretched out and far away and just unable to really help. It's like a shadow looming over you and just something coming down, crushing all of you.
It might be that you're starting to develop those abilities of our blood. Some, like mine, come unasked. I did not ask for that. I trained to tame them. But they were there.
I get it when I'm working too deep on a computer, it's too late and all. I get a bit, pent up on stuff. But there's kind of flashes and all, and I suppose, like you say, I'm trying to tame it, to understand it.
And what are these flashes that you see? Do you see anyone? Do you see any place?
Aye. Abasi. At least that's what I can make out.
He raises an eyebrow. Obasi. You can perceive Obasi in your premonitions.
Not so much like him exactly, but that's the read I get, You see a thing, like something that makes sense, that might be... I don't want to trouble you with the details and all. It just feels like a bit personal. But I have ways of perceiving different people, and that is the case. I look at Nanj, for instance. Every time I try to look at her, she's like this hate-filled, crazed, like she's drowning almost in this hatred, and she's like reaching out for people and just trying to like pull them down into the water with that. And when I look at Janusz, it's a little bit hard to look at him at times. I mean, for starters, he's not him, it's her, which is really confusing. But all of these things, you kind of see different things, different people, different ways of seeing them. And I see Obasi. And, there's things about everybody that I see, and there's something dark about him. He's like...
Yes.
And that's what I see coming through, is that part of him, and just in the things I've seen. And
it is I need you to focus, Diarmuid. It's very important if you tell me that this is you being able to perceive Obasi, or if this is just you reaching conclusions. You'll see in the more than 200 years that Obasi has been with us ever since he was embraced by my predecessor. I have not once seen a vision of him, nor any other seer in the city. There must be something of his blood, of himself. I've never been able. Perhaps he's been very durable. He helped. He was very resourceful. I believe Prince William was grooming him to be the prince. You see, his line had a tradition of succession to avoid betrayal. Prince William was the prince after his sire. His sire stepped out of the position and allowed his child to become the prince. William had his child, Obasi, become Primogen, and he would have been prince once William stepped out, and they would move to other cities or other roles. Prince William's sire is an archon for the Ventrue of our Camarilla. They are a very small bloodline that are always moving, and they have this, well, as I said, this tradition of succession. That's what keeps them so neatly tied, together. But also,
I don't know, maybe he feels cheated out of what he should have had, and you've clearly taken it. I don't know. I just got a feeling.
Yeah, you will see. No one has had a read on Obasi. Not even the Tremere when they tried it. He was able to snuff a conspiracy of them.
I use a different kind of magic, I work through the web. You can't hide from the internet.
I do not presume to understand that, what you just said. I just want to understand if someone of my clan has finally able to pierce the Black Lion's shroud. No one knows what Albasi is up to, ever. And you're telling me that you are privy to his wants? Is he plotting against me?
I think so. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're right. Maybe nobody can see what he's doing. Maybe I'm just... But I'm afraid that I'm going to go out on a boat and be too far to help or do anything about it. And I don't know what there is I could do about it in the first place. It's not like I'm an empowered holy warrior of the gods or all. But, you know... I just think you need to watch your back.
The way I see it, we have two choices. Either I come in the boat with you, so you can keep an eye on me, or I send Obasi on this trip, so you can keep an eye on him.
Sure.
I'm not much of use in a small boat filled with other kindred.
I didn't get the feeling when I talked to Obasi that he was due to be coming with us, but I mean, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you who's on the boat with us, and you know, you can make a decision.
Yes, please. Who is coming along?
Well, there's myself and the guys, and from the cam, obviously you know, but also we got a Nosferatu, the other Nosferatu, not Squid, from the Anarchs, because he's got a beef with the fact that Squid got taken down. And Roger said that he wants to come along too and teach, assuming we can pay his price, which I think we can. I don't think there's anybody else, but that should be the lot of us.
Well, in that case, I might be of a mind of sending Obasi with you.
Fair enough.
At least while he's with you in the boat. Well, you can keep an eye on him. See if you can get more from your sight, your ability to work on him. I'm most intrigued, Dermot.
I see what I can do, but I'll fair enough. You let him know, and obviously I don't want to be found to be like casting aspersions and all.
Not at all.
Could be that I'm completely wrong, but you may want to like you know, yeah, just not mention anything about it, no, to anybody.
I won't. Thank you, Dermot.
No, thank you.
I have much to think about. Thank you. Okay. Now me internally, Carlos is thinking, do I give a stain to Dermot because, you know, my faction right or wrong, and you're going...
It's a little one.
It's a little bit, but there's also the thing that he's keeping things in-house. So leave that. I'm gonna mull it over for a second or two because yes, is your faction right or wrong, and you're putting basically Matilda's betrayal on top of a Ventrue Primogen, but you're also looking out for your prince. So there might be one of those things in which you're still going, like, you could argue that you're still going, you know, pursuing the greater good for the Camarilla. So I'm gonna mull it over for the next few minutes. We're gonna go to a conversation between Matilda and Roger. Part 2, right?
Yeah, back at it.
Confession time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so Roger receives you, but in this instance, he receives you in the little open area around the Bristol Observatory, which is Camarilla territory that belongs to the Toreador Primogen,
Okay.
who is descendant of the line of Roger himself, Frederick Whitmore. You will walk over the Clifton Suspension Bridge with Roger, and then walk up to the little dome where the observatory is, and there are some people outside sitting on benches, and he's just walking placidly next to you. He has some conversations take place with Frederick, and he thought it would be good that you were seen publicly with an anarch figure, but also as a friend of the Camarilla and not as an antagonist.
Nice. Good. So when we get to the observatory, to the sort of bit where you can look out over the suspension bridge, I'll just kind of stand there for a second, and I probably won't really look at Roger, just keep looking out, and then just say, I have something to tell you, but I need your assurance that I have your protection by saying it.
Well, I am an anarch representative, and you are one of my faction.
I need your protection from the library and potentially from the Camarilla.
You're telling me you're about to break any of the rules of the Accords? I'm 600 years older than the Accords. Do you think I really care?
Good. I think you might already know, but I owe a life boon to Abassi.
Yes, I do know.
He called it in a few nights ago, and he asked for my help to kill you.
His expression does not change whatsoever. Did he mention his motives?
You killed his sire.
I did, because he killed Giacomo.
Which is what I said. He doesn't care. He just wants revenge on you and on Nathaniel. He's after him next.
At that, he does. His expression does change. Nathaniel as well.
He's not holding back. He wants you both.
What part are you to play in this?
He asked me to find a time where you would be vulnerable.
Are you to assist him in taking me down?
He didn't say.
Let's assume you are.
Yeah. I thought perhaps if you're due to come with us on this boat trip, Abassi might come as well. Might lead him to believe that that's where you could be vulnerable. Out on open water.
This is a very dangerous thing you're doing, Matilda.
He offered me an alternative, which was to go into the Camarilla. And I said no, because that's the same as a life boon, effectively. And then he said, well, I can do this. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, if I do it, he has this information on me anyway. He could reveal it anyway if I'm part of it. It's just another life boon. There's no way out apart from this.
Oh, there isn't. Who else knows?
I told Dermot in my coterie. I trust him. I trust the others as well, but I haven't got round to saying. It's a bit more delicate.
This is what we're gonna do, Matilda. You're gonna tell Obasi exactly when and where I'm going to be at my most vulnerable. And then you're gonna have your plan. He will most likely leave you out of it until he needs to call upon you. He might have asked others to join him.
He will have.
When he comes for me, I'll make sure to take his head, just like I did with his sire, together with the heads of anyone who's there to aid him.
Make sure it hurts.
It will. Then we will have to think about what to do with you. Don't be naive to think that Obasi has not made arrangements of your treachery being known to the library.
I believe he'll have a contingency.
Depending on the outcome of this, your life might be forfeit. Are you still sure you don't want to go and play your odds with Obasi?
It's no life.
Very well. Walk with me. And he goes all the way to the observatory. And then there it is. Frederick Wigmore receives you. The two of you, of course. Very pleasant, very amenable.
Yep.
But Roger's first word is, Frederick, I will need the coin. It's everything all right, sire? It won't be. But I believe we need to make preparations. And Frederick looks at you, looks at him, and asks you both into the observatory. Now, Nanj's cell, you have been following the trails
Indeed.
of actually, you have managed over the course of this week to identify all the 12 people.
Oh, me?
All of them. Yeah, like
Because
identify, like visually, yes, visually, because also you sit around nearby, and then two people. I was like, "Have you seen George? He's coming later. He went to, I don't know, he went to Primark, and then you see someone later on walking with a Primark bag. Hey, how are you? You go like, okay, that's George. You go to the list. That's George, and that's how you start pinpointing some of them. You get the addresses of a good number of them, 4 or 5 over the course of the week. You don't have them all,
Right.
but you have identified visually all of them.
Right.
Importantly, one of the addresses that you have is of one of the 3 people, the clerky type, that has knowledge of the existence of this outside person
Yep.
to contact. Okay? It's one of those.
Okay. So, sorry, because this has just popped up into my head from last session.
Mm-hmm.
The chap I spoke to that I directed to Janusz, does he show up on the
That is my
Thursday?
final session. That's my final.
Fine,
that's my
okay.
final scene for the night.
Right, okay, in which case, I will just make sure that Janusz is aware of my progress, and I will be suggesting to him that we start with this person who's one of the 3 that's, that knows.
Okay.
But yes,
Okay.
I'll otherwise be kind of making plans and preparing.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do, because it feels like you're gonna be close to this group of people either way,
Yes.
I'm gonna make your hunt roll. Okay.
Hmm.
And if it's successful, We're gonna say that you're gonna be feeding basically off of them.
Okay.
Basically, because you're gonna be spending so much time following their footsteps and their trails that you end up looking for places where you can get the jump on them, and then giving it a little test with a little feed.
Don't forget my big pile of negatives for my compulsion.
You still have your 2 die compulsion penalty. Don't worry about it. I've not forgotten about it. This is going to be a simple roll.
You're doing so well.
It'll be alright. What's the worst going to happen? Masquerade breach. There's no one in the city. Who cares?
This is a dexterity plus stealth roll. You're getting a penalty. Look at you go. 2 successes with no critical or messes. Well, I mean, there is the potential of a messy critical, but I think since you're having obfuscate, you're going to, by default, you're going to be hunting outside of your territory. It would be considered poaching. But you reckon that if someone goes like, she's been poaching my territory, and you go like, I've been feeding on the Society of Leopold, the librarian will basically dismiss it.
Okay.
You know, because it's like, hey, it might be your territory, but, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, Janusz is also the librarian's mate, right? So he can help me out.
I'll put
That's what you're thinking.
Nate's right,
So that's why I'm giving you a basic difficulty of like a normal, like easy hunt, which is always like 2 successes, as in that, the world is your oyster and you can hunt anywhere. Higher difficulties for hunts go where there is more scarce prey, not a lot of people, or you have to take care of things like police in heavily patrolled areas, or if you're trying to avoid other people's territories. So all of those things increase your difficulty. You are literally not caring about anything other than finding a prey, not being seen. That's it.
Boom. Yep.
But you only get just like minimal amounts.
Okay.
Because it has to be very quick feeds.
That puts me on 2 then, rather than 1.
That will put you in 2, yes.
Okay.
And for the last scene of the evening, on the Thursday, a guy shows up into Janusz's domain. I am looking for his name desperately. I
can't remember his name.
I'm looking in my notes.
Convert A.
Adam?
Yeah, clearly Jeff.
Yeah.
No, Jeff is actually a brew.
Oh, Mark. Was it Mark?
Yes, Mark. Thank you. It's Mark. So Mark makes his way to Janusz's haven. Evelina tells you that someone is here to look for you. Someone that Nanj has sent.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll they can come in, I suppose.
Hi. You're Janusz?
Yes, that's right. I understand you were asked to come here. Perhaps you'd like to sit down.
Oh, yes, thank you. Well, I not exactly asked. I met this girl, Nanj.
Yes.
And I was going through a rough time, and she heard me out, and she said that you are good at helping people out when they're like in need or in trouble, or
if there's something troubling you, you're welcome to tell me about it. It is sometimes easier with a stranger, I think, than with
yeah, that's what Nanj said, and it's easier. It is. Well, I mean, I feel a little silly doing this now, but when I talked to her, I was so furious because so there's this support group at church, and we help each other, and I feel that they have given up on me, but they give me lip service onto how they haven't, but I don't feel them helping me in any way, shape, or form.
I see.
And it's as if they are. I mean, I'm there and I'm helping others, because we are supposed to help. All of us help each other, but I feel that I'm helping others and no one is helping me. And I see other people helping each other, but I don't see them helping me.
What help do you need?
I came to the city alone, and I had no friends and no family nor relatives, and in my work with lots of rotations and personal changing, and I'm very different from the people at Misión Burrito. You know, it's like we're not exactly like two peas in a pod. There's mostly students, and I know they laugh at my back, and it's been dark times, you know, and it's been difficult, and it started taking me to dark places, and I fell in. I found solace, I guess, on anything, any gambling, drinking, anything. It wasn't difficult to stop drinking or gambling or, getting hits or. It was difficult not to be doing something, engaging in some way with some people. You know what I mean? I was not addicted to the thing I was doing. I was addicted to how it brought me to others. How it sometimes brought me some recognition if I placed a great bet or I did a stupid dare or...
I understand. I really do. I, like you, have come to this place and I do not fit in. And can be a lonely experience, but the difference here perhaps is that many of us have not quite fitted in, but we've found each other, and we are not a self-help group here. We are more, I suppose, like an extended family.
Yeah, Nanj mentioned that this is her family.
Yeah.
She said that she lives here?
Yes, that's right. It's a big house, and some of us have fallen on hard times, and I make room for them where I can.
And when do you meet?
There are many times, and I will have Evelina talk to you about the next time we're gathering, but in general terms, you are welcome most days if you wish for company. Of course, there might sometimes be things that need doing. We are, as you can see, this house is old. There is often a leak in the roof or something that needs patching up. But we might ask you to pitch in, but then there'll be food if you want it, and company, and sometimes celebration also.
Well, I'm definitely up for the company bit. So if someone can show me around, and
of course I'll have Evelina do that shortly. But if I may say one more thing, this passion that you have, this need to be recognised, sounds as if you have put it into things that you know yourself are not the right things. Getting the attention of people at a gambling table, for example. I would say to you that need in itself, not a bad thing. There is a part of you that is looking to do something of notice, is looking to be recognised
Yes.
You just need an opportunity. That's all. I believe that perhaps you might find opportunities here to do something truly meaningful and to have others appreciate the real you, the person that you really are.
I get a charisma plus leadership role.
Okay.
I set them up, you knock them down.
I'm gonna ask about the indoctrination specialty.
Yes, absolutely. Come on. I mean, this is exactly why that specialty has been invented for.
There we go.
Boom.
So messy crit, 6 successes, I believe.
Wow, 6 successes, messy critical.
Yeah.
That is indeed a good one. So you will get him to be there. When you call Evelina comes with Sane, and of course they come, a young couple holding hands, and when you call them, they know Mark, and they give him, like Evelina gives him a warm hug, and Sane gives him a firm handshake, and it's like, yeah, let's show you around. Have you had dinner? Because we're gonna make some bread, and it's basically, he's let known immediately. They let him know that there's always someone doing something here around the house, and tonight they're having dinner together, and they're baking bread, and they're doing this, all of these things. And the experience for him, and the things you say, you see that they hit, specific spots. So you will not see this immediately from the other children, but Mark himself is embedding himself deep, going all in immediately, which could jeopardize what Janusz is doing with the rest of the society, because he's not being taken out of the society. He's being lured by your beast. This is a type of messy critical in which your beast is not messing with you, but has shown him an aspect of this that he now wants and desires a little irrationally. He felt that sort of animal magnetism to this place, and he's willing to cut ties roughly with the society for it, which means that Nanj will have an increased difficulty on her next actions on the Society of Leopold, because some of them will be on their guards of their members being approached.
Okay.
On the flip side, the critical part of this role is that he's really willing to help you indoctrinate others from the support group. Others that might feel disenfranchised, just like
I can help him feel disenfranchised.
So with that sort of odd, good and bad outcome of that role, I want to say thank you very much, and that's where we're gonna draw the session to a close. So that's the end of session 8 of Blood on the Severn. Thank you very much. Sorry?
Did Dermot get a stain or not?
That's a really good
Stain
question.
queen.
You want your revenge.
Join me.
Alice knows all about getting stains.
Yeah.
So I think Dermot would, because of the source. It's your faction right or wrong. You should still be putting Obasi over Matilda. Even if the direct consequence is, and also Obasi over Roger.
Obasi's a scumbag.
If Obasi wants to kill Roger, you actually would. You should help Obasi get Roger killed, and then when Obasi turns his guns inwards, then you deal with that. But I think you will take 2 stains. Do you have any convictions that will help you with this?
Do I have any convictions?
What are your convictions that can help you shield this?
I think silence is the road to oblivion. Our voices must be heard. I think it's important to let people know what is happening.
Okay.
I'm trying to do it indirectly, but if I don't speak up, so I think in terms of trying to make sure that Roger is still protected, it's making sure that that this is out there. Somebody's asked me to say it, and so I'm saying it.
Okay.
It's letting Matilda's voice speak out through me.
Oh, thanks.
I don't know if sounds like there's still 1 stain though. I don't think I can really defend against that.
Yeah, you still will have 1 stain. But what's your humanity?
My humanity is 7.
7. Okay,
Sit
so you will have 2
I dare you have such
remorse.
high humanity.
You will have 2 remorse
2 dice.
dice. Yes,
Let's do
2
it.
dice. Let's do this.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Slayed it.
Not only 2 successes, one of them is a 10. You
Let
feel
me
a
tell you,
little
you're in the wrong
guilty.
coterie.
You're in the
Yeah.
wrong coterie.
I
You're
feel
very humane.
eternally guilty.
You're literally the
eternally
only
guilty.
moral person
I mean,
left.
you're trying to justify to yourself, and you're going like, "Shit, no, Matilda should have told me, and I should have not listened." At least you're trying to justify your actions, which again, you know that you're doing it, so that's why you feel guilty. By saying, yeah, but in the end, I'm upholding the Camarilla by helping Nathaniel, you know? Yeah, but in the middle, you are screwing the Camarilla by selling out Obasi to Roger, you know?
I'm screwing everybody.
Abbas is
Yeah.
such a cool guy.
Obasi is your Ventrue
Maybe I should
Primogen.
give him a second chance, you know. Maybe he's not
Yeah.
quite so dark and evil.
Maybe he's not quite so
Yeah.
creepy.
Well, with that, yet again, successful remorse check from Diarmuid, which is apparently the only person who's going to end up with sort of like a normal humanity after this. I
is
want to say
normal.
thank you very much. Yeah, 5 is normal, super
5 is
normal.
normal.
Yeah. I want to say thank you very much to my players.
Thank you,
Carlos.
Carlos.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you to everybody who is watching or listening. If you're listening from the podcast, this is the sound of my voice. And I am going to love you and leave you until next week, where we'll have, oh my God, episode 9 and a boat trip. So don't miss next week's Blood on the Severn. Until then,
Bye.
goodbye.
Bye.